And tonight's episode is brought to you by SuperOps. Built for future, built for growth, the AI powered PSA RMM platform designed for fast growing MSPs. To find out more, go to atmsp.link/superops.
Besides the fact that it's a man's world. And we still have
We're working on that. We're working on that.
just more diversity, not just women, but more diversity. We need each other, but we need our male allies too, because they think differently than us, and so we need to work together.
I think more people like you, because we've been alone. I've been alone and learning all this, trying to learn what tool to use, what the operation, everything, like trying to do it myself. So maybe more exposure on the information that the new MSPs that we need to succeed and to how to operate this business. Maybe, I mean, it's there, it's just that I just don't know where to find it.
Easy DMARC, an email authentication and deliverability platform that helps meet and beat Google and Yahoo's requirements in just a few clicks. Easy implementation, smooth DMARC enforcement, smart monitoring and alerting. Everything you need in one platform with a team of experts ready to assist you at every step of the way. Join 70,000 domains authenticating their emails with us. Act now and ensure your important messages land in the inbox.
Thank you. Thank you so much for Peter for letting me know that there was no audio there. I don't know. Things just, sometimes live streams don't work the way you expect them to. So let me go back and say thank you very much to SuperOps, our episode sponsor for tonight. We really do appreciate them and what they do for the channel. And tonight is kind of a continuation in our educational series on the things that I think are important that came out of the State of the Channel report for 2024 from CompTIA. This is going to be a deeper dive into some of the topics that we kind of just breezed over the other night when we talked about the overall State of the Channel report. And I'm going to include tonight some checklists, some actionable items that I think you can take on these three things in particular. Thanks again to Peter Diaz for letting me know that there was not audio at the very beginning of this. Really do appreciate that. Hey, guys, this is a group effort here. So keep up with the help. I really do appreciate it. All right. So, and by the way, like I think I was saying before I found out that there was no audio, that this is the last in the educational series for right now. We'll pick those up in a bit. But for April, we have quite a few guests already lined up. In fact, 3 of the weeks for April are already lined up with guests. The first one is Terry Hedden. We're going to talk about building a sales and marketing engine that actually works, because I know that was one of the things that came up in the discussion in the survey, and it's something that frequently comes up with MSPs, especially MSPs that are looking to grow. And then we are going to have Gradient. We're going to have Colin Knox on the second week in April, and he's going to be talking about the announcement that they have coming out on April the 8th. So lots of exciting stuff coming up. Join us for that. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with tonight's topic. Now, as usual, if you guys have any questions about tonight's topic, please go ahead and put those in the chat. I'm monitoring the StreamYard chat as well as the LinkedIn chat. I have that open in a separate window because, of course, the LinkedIn chat does not come through StreamYard. So I will be checking all three from time to time. And so in case you haven't seen me looking over this way, that's what I'm doing. And then tonight's unofficial drink sponsor is Weldon Mills. It's a distillery here in North Carolina, and I am drinking their Rockfish whiskey. All right, so if you're drinking with me tonight, let me know in the comments. Okay, so strategic moves for MSPs in 2024. These are the three things that I picked out specifically from the CompTIA report that really stood out to me, as well as stood out to you guys, because this is the stuff from the report. These happen to be three of the top things that kind of bubbled up from the people who responded to the polls. So what are they? And let me go ahead and expand this so I can see a little better. There we go. The top three things, in my opinion, are cybersecurity, cloud adoption, and generative AI. Now, we've talked about generative AI before, so if you want more information, you want to go more in depth, there's actually two live stream episodes to check out. The first one is the one that I did with Corey Kirkendall. He's an MSP out of Texas. Great session there to kind of talk about what they're doing in terms of AI and their clients. And then I did a little bit of a educational session on how I would approach generative AI and working with clients and kind of pricing and packaging that and putting it all together in one place. So that being said, let's talk about why I chose these three. So we're going to take a look at some of the graphs, some of the charts from the report. And as you can see in this one, these are the factors contributing to a healthy IT channel in 2024. Now, number one is growing complexity of tech creating demand. This one kind of never changes, right? We're in the tech business. And I also think you can wrap up some of the things, the three that we're going to talk about tonight, into that growing complexity. And I think it's an ongoing challenge for MSPs to be able to keep up with the complexity of tech. Now, I think, like I mentioned the other night, this one specifically is something where I think it's the reason why clients will always need MSPs, because there will always be small businesses who are not going to employ a large IT company or a large MSP to support them. And so they're going to need the help of a local MSP to keep up with technology. And so that's one of the reasons why I think this business model is never going away, because as much as you commoditize the rest of it, the stuff that we do in terms of monitoring and fixing stuff when it's broken and stuff like that, that stuff we're going to do less of as that becomes less important, and actually using technology in these small to medium-sized businesses is more important. All right, so why did I pick the other three? The other three are basically because they appeared next. I think the other one is a given. These three are things that I think we can address individually, and that is, of course, the AI, generative AI tools, increased demand for cybersecurity services, because folks, that's not over. The war is not over on cybersecurity. There is more to do, especially as threat actors move downstream and are more commonly attacking smaller size businesses like the ones that MSPs support. And therefore, we need to provide those cybersecurity services to those clients. And then, of course, cloud computing adoption. I think this one has kind of been a slow roll. I think it's one of those things that, yes, it's been out there for a long time, but I think it still has a strong opportunity to grow. And I think it's starting to actually ramp a little bit from what I'm seeing out there. And, by the way, 45% of you think it's one of the things that's contributing to the Healthy IT channel. All right. So next, and this is a bit of an eye chart, and I apologize for that. I probably should have put it up on the teleprompter before I looked, but still, you see cybersecurity services up here. And let me just pull this down for my sanity. Apologize if I'm not looking straight into the teleprompter at the moment, just so that I can read these numbers. But cybersecurity services, for the people polled, 41% plus 37%, that's 78%, say that there's going to be a significant increase or some increase over the next 2 years. And 41% say significant increase. So if you're not capturing the revenue growth expected in cybersecurity services, that means that other people are, and you're probably losing out. So this is another reason I chose cybersecurity as one of the things to talk about tonight. And then cloud services and digital transformation. If you combine those two numbers, let's see, 30 and 50 is going to give you 80. So again, 78%. This is a little bit smaller on the significant increase side, probably because of what I said. Moving to the cloud has been a slow roll, and a lot of people have already started or are already there. But I think there's still a lot of opportunity there. And of course, AI is not on here yet, simply because I believe it was too new to be included on this, because it's not something that, quite honestly, I think we've really figured out how to monetize yet. But I'm going to give you some ideas for that later on in the show. Okay, next one, and this is the last eye chart, and then I'll move you guys back up to the teleprompter. Cybersecurity services, again, profit margins over the next 2 years. So 38% and 48%. We're coming in at, 86%. 86% of you say that there's going to be an increase in profit margins in cybersecurity. And I think this differs over the revenue, because I think that you are going to get more efficient in delivering those cybersecurity services, and therefore it's going to generate more profit. And if you're not aiming towards the higher profit margin services, I think that's just a bad business move, right? If you are doing cybersecurity, and I think everybody has to do some of it, even if you're outsourcing the majority of it, that you need to participate in those profit margins. Don't sell yourself short there. There's money to be made. And then again, in cloud services and digital transformation, 30% plus 48%, again, we're at 78%. That's a lot of people thinking that there's going to be an increase in profit margins in cloud. Now, one of the interesting things is in the State of the Channel, the 2023 report, one of the interesting statistics that I pulled out of that one was the fact that MSPs were saying that the clients that they had moved more to the cloud had higher profit margins overall than the clients that they had not yet moved to the cloud. And I think that this is because of several reasons. And primarily it's because moving to the cloud takes the infrastructure responsibility off of your internal staff and pushes it to whatever vendor is delivering that cloud-based service. So I think that's one of the big things. It also brings in more efficiencies so that you're using less labor overall to support that client, and therefore you're picking up those efficiencies and that labor reduction in terms of profit margin. So very important to take a look at those things, and really a good reason to move people to the cloud. I know that there's been kind of this surge recently, and I'd love to hear comments. So if you're here and you want to talk about that in the chat, please go ahead and do so. But there's been a lot of talk lately about a resurgence of moving back from cloud to on-prem. And I'm not going to go into fully that. I think that's a great panel discussion. In fact, if you're interested in being on a panel for that, go ahead and let me know in the comments, even if you're watching this in the rerun, because I watch the comments even, in days, weeks going forward. In fact, YouTube notifies me if you guys make a comment. So I will get back to you if you're watching this on the rerun. So please, if you have something that you want to share, go ahead and comment. It would be great if you did so. Okay. So that covers some of the business reasons to be doing this, the business reasons for addressing some of these things, right? Now, cybersecurity continues to be in demand, 52%. Complexity of cybersecurity is increasing. Just like the technology that we help our clients with, cybersecurity is getting more complex and they need help with that as well. And then, of course, the increasing threat landscape. That's another big one, because a lot of people are, just seeing that the threat footprint is becoming larger. And that goes to kind of that downscaling or down market attacks that I was talking about earlier, where smaller and smaller businesses are being attacked because the cybersecurity threat actors are becoming more adept at using automation to make those attacks, therefore making it profitable to even attack a very small business. Okay, cloud adoption. I'm going to move you guys back up into the teleprompter there. Continues to be in demand. 45% of you say it's going to have a significant influence on 2024. Continued work from anywhere. There's still some messes to pick up. I'm not going to point any fingers, but you know who you are. There's still some continued work out there to do from the work from anywhere move, plus work from anywhere. I think we've seen that there's been a lot of pushback for the return to office, and therefore I think work from anywhere is something that needs to be continued to be worked on today, and cloud adoption is obviously a big part of that. And then we're still seeing a steady migration to as a service business models, especially when we're talking about the tools that they're using. A lot of legacy software is moving to cloud-based versions. And so I think almost everyone is going to be able to run their business, small or large, off of an as a service tool in the very near future. And generative AI. This is the one that we've talked about a bit. Adoption is imminent. 59% of the people who reported into the survey for CompTIA said that it was going to be a factor in 2024. You need to support it. We've talked about this before. People are starting to use it in Copilot. They're starting to use it in Gemini, in Google Workspace. They're starting to use it as part of ChatGPT and all of the other little tools that are floating out there. And I think one of the biggest risks here is that they are already being used in a, and I'll use air quotes, rogue fashion. It kind of is like when we went, we did all the work from home stuff, right? And a lot of people just went rogue and got a free Dropbox account. And so they were storing company files in there. You can't let people go rogue with ChatGPT because you have a very similar data problem. Okay. Now I'm just going to check for comments to see if anybody else has commented. Nope, not yet. Checking LinkedIn. Nope, don't see anything over there. Okay. So that's, kind of the thing with generative AI. Now I promised checklists, right? So first of all, cybersecurity action items. The first thing that anybody needs to do if they're providing any type of security to their clients is align to a framework. Now, I don't care what framework that is. There's NIST, there's CIS, there's a lot of other ones that get mentioned every single day. Pick one that's relative to your geography or relevant to your geography, right? So in the United States, pick something that's prevalent in the United States. In the UK, pick something that's prevalent to the UK. The rest of Europe, same thing. Australia, New Zealand, whatever. Pick the framework that is relevant to where you are and relevant to the clients that you serve, because there's going to be sub frameworks too, right? CMMC, mostly based on NIST, is for DoD contractors. Coming up really soon, folks. You're going to need to address that. So if they have those extra compliance requirements, make sure that the framework is aligned with those. So again, a lot of this, you got to know your clients and know what businesses they're in and what requirements that they have to adhere to. Productize those security offerings. Use different levels if you need to. You may have a very diverse client set, right? And you may have clients that just need the very basics, right? They need, some endpoint security. They need stuff to be monitored. You need to set configurations in a certain way. And, maybe some cloud monitoring, maybe some configuration monitoring with something like CoreView or Simian Cloud, those kinds of things. And then you have higher levels that maybe they need some type of compliance. Maybe they need a tool that's going to give them data privacy or data security. Maybe something that's going to drive a higher level of security around their users, around their data, and around their endpoints. So productize that. Make sure that you have offerings that fit as generic as possible as you can make them, your different types of clients, right? Now, let me say for just a second here that this is kind of where, because I had a conversation today with somebody where we were talking about focus. And that's one of the things that by defining your ideal client profile, it gives you that focus, right? Because if you have a lot of different types of clients, you could create 5, 10, 15 of these different security offerings. And that's a problem because it's too much to track, especially for a smaller MSP. And for smaller MSP, I'm probably going to label you anybody less than 20 employees, okay? Which is actually a fairly good sized MSP. And most MSPs are in that under 20 range. Simplify things, know who your ideal client is, and make your security offerings and all of your product packages, by the way, meet the needs of those specific clients. Educate clients on cybersecurity awareness. This is a big one. First of all, they don't understand the value if you haven't educated them on it first. Okay. So they're going to understand the value more if you educate them. And then the biggest threat to your client systems is their users. And the education for those users is important. Now, this is something you can outsource. So if that's what you need to do, do it. But if you are there to help your clients with all of their technology, I think that includes a certain amount of cybersecurity awareness, or you're not doing your job properly. Okay. Hate to kind of put it in that light, but if you're not providing them some type of cybersecurity awareness and education, I think you're doing them a huge disservice. And it's not something you have to do yourself. It is something you can outsource and charge them for as part of their package. And then, because security is never one and done, offer cybersecurity audits and compliance services. Okay. If they are in a business where they need to stay compliant, not just get compliant, but they have to stay compliant, make sure that you're offering services, whether it's through manual audits, whether you can automate that, which so many companies have come out with different types of tools to be able to audit different types of security, different types of compliance. Those are all things that you can do with a tool, and you don't have to spend labor hours on it. And it's something that's extremely valuable because even in the realm of cybersecurity insurance, right? They have a ransomware attack. If one of the things on that insurance company's checklist fell out of compliance, there's a good chance that they're not going to get paid out for that claim. If you don't have in-house resources, outsource it. Everything in here, except for the layered security approach and the productization, can be done by outsourcing. And once you have the productization done and you've chosen the tools to include in those security offerings, a lot of that can be outsourced as well. Things like an outsourced NOC or a SOC, sorry, those things can be done. All right. Before I go to cloud adoption, I'm just going to check and see if there are any comments. Make sure I'm not missing anybody here. Okay, so cloud adoption action items. These are the things that you can do to move forward in cloud adoption with your clients. Develop a cloud migration and management service, okay? Because it's one thing to sign up for a new service. It's another thing to actually migrate their data from whether it's an on-premise server, whether it's SharePoint, whatever it is, maybe it's moving email, whatever it is, they need to be able to move that data. And that's a big part of doing a cloud migration. So make sure that you have a service that you've already defined around that. Don't wait until you need to do one. Figure out what that looks like now. And then cloud services need to be managed. Microsoft 365 needs to be managed. You need to keep those configurations locked down. Even if it's something like QuickBooks Online, okay? You need to have something that's monitoring the connections from your client to their cloud tools, so that when something happens, you can jump on it right away, or at least when they call you up and say, hey, this isn't working, you can say, yeah, we've already seen that. We're already working on it. We're figuring it out, and we'll let you know what we find out as soon as we do. Now, you may not have a great answer, right? But at least you already know that there's a connection problem, or that it's their internet connection, whatever it is. You probably by that point have already figured out, or can already pull it up in your tool of where the problem exists, and you can tell them what your next steps are to go remediate it. All right, training staff in cloud infrastructure and platform services. So many times you have your help desk agents, and yeah, they're going to know 365, so they're going to be able to help with that. But can they diagnose a problem, not with how to use QuickBooks, but if QuickBooks isn't working? They need to understand how all that stuff is connected, and how to work through the processes of diagnosing a problem with those most common cloud and platform services that your clients are using. Next, partner with cloud service providers for specialized offerings. There's a lot of cloud service providers out there who offer very special services, right? Maybe going back to the QuickBooks Online example, right? Maybe they can't use QuickBooks Online. They have to use a hosted version of QuickBooks or an on-premise version of QuickBooks. There are cloud service providers out there that specialize in giving, or hosting on-premise software like QuickBooks. That's probably just the most popular one for small to medium-sized businesses who can't move to QuickBooks Online. So look for those, partner with those people to solve that problem for your client and move that stuff to the cloud so that you're not having to take care of it as much anymore. And then create cloud security and governance services. A lot of this is around monitoring, right? So create the services around these cloud tools that your clients are using to make them more secure and to govern them, to make sure that the data is safe, that they're using them properly, and all of those different things. And last but not least, and if you want a deeper dive into the generative AI action items, I suggest that you go back to the live stream from a couple of weeks ago, where I talked about this one in more depth. But invest in generative AI for your team, training for your team, because again, your team is going to be supporting AI. Whether you like it or not, they will be, because if your clients have a technology problem, and AI is technology, they're going to call your help desk. So be prepared for those phone calls. Build policies around internal and client usage of AI. This is one that I didn't think about until Corey Kirkendall pointed it out on the live stream that he and I did about a month ago. Build those policies both for yourself as well as for your clients, okay? Now, I very specifically put this first before educating clients, because I really do think you need these policies built before you go teach them to your clients. I think you should work them out internally, do a little test drive internally of these policies even before you create a client-facing version of them. And then, of course, educate your clients on AI usage and security best practices, including those policies that you built. And the policies are really just built to protect the client from people using, and this is going to be the next action item, monitoring for rogue AI usage. We want to make sure that nobody in the company is using AI without applying the policies and procedures to them, because anything rogue in an IT environment can create a vector of compromise, right? Whether it's sharing data out to the world or a large language model that shouldn't be, or whether it's some type of credential issue that gives them a backdoor into something else, kind of a cascading effect, right? So AI, I think it wasn't covered very much in the State of the Channel report for 2024, but I think that's because it's so new. And I think the MSPs who kind of grabbed the, for the opportunity here are going to find it in 2024, because I think there are opportunities to make sure that clients know how to use it properly, and how to use it according to security best practices. All right, and that's really all I had for tonight. I wanted to just kind of go through those three things in more significant detail. Now, if there's anybody out there who is still on that has a comment, has a question about tonight, would love to hear from them. Let me go ahead and switch this back so you're not looking at the thank you. There we go. But really do appreciate everybody who watches these. I hope they're educational. These are the kind of topics that you guys asked for in the 2024 member survey. So let me know how useful this was to you. Even if you're watching it again, like I said, on a rerun, watching it on YouTube, whatever, let me know in the comments whether or not this was something that was helpful to you, so that I know how to adjust live streams in the future. Now, like I said earlier, the next live stream is going to be with Terry Hedden from Marketopia on building a sales and marketing engine that produces results. If you don't know Terry, he's been doing this for a long time. He's owned his own MSP. Marketopia has been helping MSPs and vendors for quite a while with their sales and marketing processes. So check that out next week. And again, I want to say thank you to tonight's sponsor, that is SuperOps, and really want to thank them for their support. And if you're looking for a PSA RMM tool that leverages AI, and we've talked a lot about AI tonight, check them out at atmsp.link/SuperOps. And that's it for this evening, folks. Thanks so much for joining us. Really do appreciate, and we will see you in the next one. Have a great evening.